Is it Sunday?
Yes.
Yeah. Shut up.
Take two.
Welcome to Sunday. We're playing Amonkhet Magic pre-release. First time I've done the pre-release in like 4 years.
What was the last one you went to?
The vampire one. In Estrad.
Okay, that's been
A long time ago, when Apocalypse was doing it.
Yeah.
That's a long... Yeah, okay, it's been a while. I'm pretty sure that's the last one I went to. Anyway, Michael and Will are joining me. And we're going to go to Player's Choice and play magical cards. And hopefully there's more people than just the three of us.
Yeah.
Because Player's Choice just started running it again, so... A lot of people don't know that they're running Magic. It's going to take some time to seep into the society.
So if any of y'all want to come out and play.
Come on down, players. Fun fact, the space on an SD card is not infinite. You probably knew that. Yeah, I forgot to dump the SD card, so I did not get footage of the event. The SD card we have is really big in the vlog camera. It's 128 gigs. It will record like 3 hours. I do not dump it nightly. I do not even dump it weekly. I would say I probably dump it every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how much we've been shooting. But occasionally I forget, because I'm scatterbrained and forgetful, and I forgot. Although, to be fair, even if I would have had space to shoot stuff, I don't know that I would have had time to shoot stuff, because we did 4 matches at the pre-release, and in every single instance, in every single match, my match, the one that I was a part of, took the longest. Every single round. So people were waiting on me, which meant that by the time we finished our match, we were immediately paired up to go into the next match. So I didn't really have any downtime to shoot anything. There was a pretty good turnout. I think there was over 20 people there, which was pretty good. The store itself can't hold all that many people, so we actually played in the food court of the mall, which they had permission to do. It was a new experience for me. I've played Magic in, quite a few places over the years, and never has it been a food court. It was different. There were people there that were there to, shop, and they were getting a bite to eat, and you were just playing Magic, more or less alongside them. It wasn't like super crowded though, because for one, it's a mall in 2017 and it's not doing great, but then also, it's a Sunday, so there's not a ton of people here. And it's not summer yet, it's still April, so our crowds aren't here yet. But this is the first pre-release that I've done in probably 5 years. I don't remember when Innistrad came out, but I think that was the last one I did. And it's changed a little bit, because when I was playing, they just gave you 6 packs, and they're like, well, that's it, have fun. And now they make these little boxes, which is cool. So this is the Amonkhet or Amonkhet pre-release pack. When you open it up, I'll try to do all this with one hand. There's this little box, and it's all, the set is like Egyptian themed, so it's all cool Egyptian themed. There's the cats and gods and things like that. And we open it up. It's real convenient, because if you don't come with a deck box, you don't really need one. Everything you need is pretty much this box. So your packs were in here, obviously, and this thing, it doesn't pull out, but it like pulls up, and they give you a spin down die, and then all the cards went in here. Now, the thing that made this pre-release a little sad, a little salty, is the fact I really didn't get a lot of great cards out of it. I didn't get a lot of notable rares. I did get one mythic, Vizier of the Menagerie. It's a green creature that basically allows you to always look at the top card of your deck, and if it's a creature, you can cast it, and also you don't have to worry about what type of mana you're spending. Like, as long as that card's in play, mana can be spent freely. Like, you could cast red spells with green magic, that kind of thing. Anyway, a lot of the cards I got, and this is a really great example, were the dual lands. I got so many dual lands, which is great. In fact, you can see I got 3 of these Sheltered Thickets, and 2 of them were foil, which is bizarre. I got so many of them, and a lot of those were my rares. And they're great cards, but when you're putting together a deck in Limited for Sealed or Draft or whatever, you really don't want those cards. Like, they're helpful, don't get me wrong, but you really want something that's, a big creature that comes out that can give a punch, or a really cool spell that's altering stuff. And it felt like a lot of the stuff I had was really normal, average stuff. So because I had so many of these particular cards, these green-red dual lands, the cycle lands, I decided to go green-red, and it actually made more sense to go white. So I went red-white and then splashed in some green, and it went okay. I won 2 and I lost 2, and I got to tell you, the 2 that I lost were really close for the most part. I went 1-2 on those losses, so I won 1 and they won 2, and on those third games it was pretty close. There was one person I fought that I ultimately lost to, and I had to mulligan down to 5 on that third match, and I was like, oh god, this is not good. So I mulliganed to 5, and the hand is not looking good. But then I top deck some really good stuff, and what happens is there's a card that costs 2, and he comes out as a 4/3. You have to discard a card, but he's a 4/3, which is pretty good for 2. So I'm like, all right, great. And then the next turn, I get the enchantment that costs 1 that gives a creature +3/+3. And the other guy didn't have anything out yet, so all of a sudden I can swing for 7. And I'm like, well, okay, this is pretty good, because I had mulliganed down to 5. I thought I was done. So I started hitting this guy really hard, but I had only ever had 5 hand cards at the beginning, and I pretty much ran out of juice. I ended up getting him down to 3, and then ultimately to 1. He had 1 life point, and I ran out of gas. Eventually he got everything built back up, and he was able to overcome me. So that was a little sad, but I mean, I had fun. I had fun going to the pre-release today. It was a lot of fun to hang out with Michael and Will, and I didn't get to play them specifically. They actually got to play each other at some point. But I mean, it was still fun to have people around to talk to and to find out how people were doing. Back in the day, whenever I was in Savannah, I went to some Magic events, and while they were fun, I always went by myself. I didn't really know anyone there. And the more I went, I got to know people, but not the same as if I would have known people ahead of time and took them to the event. So at least it's nice that I have some people around the area that I know and go to these things. So we could do another one in the future. Like I said, I didn't really pull anything particularly rare. There are some cards in this set that are worth a lot of money. I don't know if anyone got any today, maybe, but not that I saw. Michael pulled a Gideon Planeswalker, which is pretty good. I gotta tell you though, the highlight of my day had very little to do with the game itself. It had to do with the game, but not the stuff that was going on. We were in the food court, and there's quite a few games of Magic going on, and we're sitting at one particular table where there's 3 or 4 games all the way down the table going on. This woman rides up in a electric scooter, or whatever you call those hover rounds or whatever. So she rides up, and she looks over at the table where we're all playing these cards, and she goes, "What is that you got there? What y'all playing? What y'all doing here?" And we said, we're playing Magic. It's a card game. We're playing, Magic the Gathering. And I wish I would have been able to take a picture of this woman, because when she heard that, her eyes, not even joking, they got like this big. She was just like, and she looked like she had seen a ghost. And there was like a weird little like time of silence where she was just looking, and someone says, have you heard of it or whatever? And she goes, no, I've heard enough. Y'all said magic, nuh-uh. And she just kept saying, magic, And she was riding away, and she's like, evil magic. And she just took off. It was so funny, and it was one of those situations, like, it almost sounds like a joke, it almost sounds like something that's not real, or something that you'd see on TV, like those people are out there, but, you don't ever meet them in person. And I met someone who was like that today, and it was incredible that I actually got to see that in real life. Like, there's all these nerds sitting around in a food court, like, playing cards, and it freaked this woman out. So that was the highlight of my day. I thought that was particularly enjoyable. Anyway, but that was the pre-release, and it didn't go super good for me. I don't remember what my placing was, to be honest. I'm not sure. And the thing that sucks is that my 2 losses were so close. If I would have won either of them, I think it would have put me in... I think if I would have won either of them, it would have put me maybe in the top 4, which is a shame, but still lost. But it was fun. I think I would do another pre-release in the future. I'm not going to like start playing Magic normal again, regularly, competitively, standard, because I simply put, I don't have the time. Magic is a very expensive hobby, and if you get good, then it stops becoming so expensive because you win the cards. But no matter what, it takes a lot of time, and time is something that is very scarce in my life. So I could see myself going to future pre-releases, especially with friends, but it's unlikely that I will be attending any other events in the future. Anyway, now I'm starting to work on a few things. I get to get a few things out, and we have a few hours, maybe like 2 hours, before we have to leave here and go pick up Lindsay. As you may know, she went to her scrapbooking convention. She's been having a lot of fun, but she gets back this evening. So Mal and I are her ride home from the airport. So we're going to go get her in about an hour and 45.
Oh my god.
Welcome back!
My bags are so heavy. I actually got yelled at because my carry-on was too heavy.
Because they're full of paper.
Yeah!
That's really comical. I've never actually heard of that before.
Woo! I made it.
So how was your trip?
It was really fun.
Good.
Yeah, I cried as soon as I saw Appleton, which was really lame. But it was so pretty because it was like dusk and all the lights were on.
And you recognized things?
I did. I recognized like Butamore, and like I could follow Highway 41 all the way up while we were coming down, and I was like, hey, I remember driving back here after 19 hours. And it took like 5 minutes to fly the distance it took an hour to drive. And it was really, really sad to think about.
And did you turn the paper into scrapbook?
I did. I turned many of the paper into scrapbook.
That was my caveman speak for the reason for your trip is turn paper into scrapbook.
I also purchased more paper for scrapbook.
Which I also assumed would probably happen at Scrapbook Expo.
Mini sticker.
That seems reasonable.
Mm-hmm.